Mom's disfellowshipping still feels so raw.
Elsa, please speak up. I miss you so much. I just want to hear your voice.
It's such a struggle. I miss her. She taught me the truth. Gave me a stable life. She was my closest friend. What's the harm in just calling once in a while? To chat. Maybe I can even help her to come back to Jehovah.
The video that we've just watched has recently been taken out of the 2023 convention series. What you'll notice is that this video is highlighting the practice of disfellowshipping, where a young woman is supposed to be shunning her mother, her very own flesh and blood mother, because she no longer belongs to the Watchtower organization. And conveniently, this video has been removed from the convention series. So now this is part of a symposium that has videos associated with every other talk, except for this one, conveniently, magically. Spirit-directed organization, ladies and gentlemen. There are a lot of different reasons as to why this might have happened, but I think we can safely speculate that it most definitely has something to do with all of the controversy that Watchtower has been facing around the practice of disfellowshipping or shunning as of recently. And it's quite literally just the inverse of another video that they've already put out back in like 2016.
Mom and Dad saw that they needed to be loyal, just like Aaron. They loved me and wanted me to come back to Jehovah. I tried to contact them. I just wanted to talk and to hear their voice. I missed being with my family. And they thought about reaching out to me. But they knew that if they had associated with me, even a little, just to check on me, that small dose of association might have satisfied me. It could have made me think that there was no need to return to Jehovah.
Can I get your name and where you're from, if you don't mind?
I'm Kai.
Kai, can I get spelling for you?
Straight out of Dogtown, K-A-I. I'm Jesus Christ, and I can do anything I f***ing want to.
Hola chula! Thank you so much for clicking onto this video, and if you are new here, well then, hi, hello, my name is Kai, and if you're coming back to my channel, well, it's great to see you, babe. Here on my channel, I like to share my experience as a person who has left the Jehovah's Witnesses organization and what it was like to grow up in a high-control Christian cult. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the practice of disfellowshipping or shunning or excommunication, and this is honestly the major contributing factor as to why people see the Watchtower organization as a cult. Very recently, Watchtower has come under fire from multiple places for the practice of disfellowshipping. We had seen in Norway that they were being stripped of their government funding. So basically their charitable status, tax-exempt status is being taken away from them. And that also means that they're actually not able to officiate their own weddings anymore. So it had a lot of major implications for them on the basis that this organization was essentially holding people emotionally and spiritually hostage, because if they had ever desired to leave and no longer be a Jehovah's Witness, then they would be disfellowshipped or disassociated and face the consequences of shunning. And of course, as we've just most recently discussed, the Rebecca Vardy documentary Jehovah's Witnesses and Me really highlighted the effects of disfellowshipping and even gave us a little bit of insight into what that actually does to a person's mental well-being. So Watchtower is realizing that more people are figuring this out, and despite what they might believe and how they might justify it using the Bible that they've modified, they are now trying to scrub this from the public. They're trying to retract all this information from the public eye. So basically they're turning around and saying, oh, actually we don't shun people, and it's totally a choice, and we don't make you cut off your family. There really shouldn't be any change in the social dynamics of your life after you leave. But then they're so very clearly practicing shunning and just really trying to drive it home into the minds of every single current day Jehovah's Witness that speaking to a disfellowshipped person is just as bad as sitting against God yourself. And this is, of course, a practice and a doctrine that just tears families apart and keeps them apart for decades, sometimes for the rest of these people's lives. And over the years, there have just been so many heinous depictions of disfellowshipping in the Jehovah's Witnesses media and dramas and convention series videos that they're so brutal. And it's brutal, but it's the truth. It's honest. That is honest. The videos that they put out with the mother declining the phone call from her disfellowshipped child, that is honest. And if there's one thing that Watchtower is trying really hard not to be right now, it's fucking honest. They don't want more attention drawn to this disfellowshipping arrangement because they know that the country of Norway has already set a precedent in retracting their funding from them. They're facing so many issues, actually kind of all across the world right now. There's a lot of stuff going on in Japan, very similar to what is going on in Norway. They're trying to outlaw religions that are overly abusive and overly controlling. And of course, that's actually going to encompass a lot of other denominations. But in the minds of Jehovah's Witnesses, they will see this as a targeted attack against God's one true organization. And when the government or somebody who's just thinking rationally comes in and says, hey, this is actually not okay, you're like, you're persecuting us. Why can't you just let us shun people? What? In order to do my part in helping to keep Watchtower accountable for this obviously inhumane practice of disfellowshipping, I figured it would be helpful to share my personal experience with this arrangement. So actually, I myself am not a disfellowship person, and in fact, I believe I would be considered an inactive Jehovah's Witness. I basically just like faded away, moved away, changed my name, changed my look, my everything. They've never found me, and I pray that they never do. But if they do, then I very well might be disfellowshipped, and boy howdy, wouldn't that be, that would be a thing, a real thing. And I'm not sure what that would look like, honestly. Guess I do kind of have an idea, because when I was much younger and still very much in the organization, my brother was disfellowshipped, and it really felt like a genuine loss in our family. I remember he moved out really fast. And I think that my parents are very lenient, almost. Just hearing other people's experiences and everything, I think my parents were actually a lot more liberal than I had first thought them to be. And so they would still make sure that my brother was okay. But that is something that Watchtower has really tried to beat out of people. And I don't know if that is where my parents are now, because my brother's back. He's back in the organization. So I have a very close relationship to him, and it makes a lot of sense to me why. Because he was gone for so long, like for many years. And that obviously must have been extremely painful for my parents to feel like they had failed him. Because essentially when someone is disfellowshipped, they've been outcast from Jehovah's organization, but they know Jehovah. So if Armageddon comes and they're still disfellowshipped, well, they might die at Armageddon because they never repented and came back to the congregation. That's a really heavy thing to have in your heart all the time. Even if it's not your family member, if it's just like a good friend. One of the other experiences that I had having to shun somebody who was disfellowshipped was actually really tough. Oh my gosh. My parents had uprooted me out of a congregation that we had been in for like pretty much my whole childhood. And I was very comfortable there. I knew people there. I had friends in that district. And then suddenly they were just like, nope, we gotta go somewhere else where the need is greater. So we left, and we started in this new congregation, and I didn't know anybody. There was nobody really my age at that time, but there was like a whole group of like young adults, and I was like 11 or 12, so I was definitely not a young adult. Most of them were kind enough to let me hang out with them. I think that was genuinely some of the best times I ever had when I was a kid growing up in the organization, just getting to hang out with like the older kids, and it made me so excited to be an adult. And now I am a 20-something adult, and I feel like I was lied to. None of them ever talked about paying bills. There was one of them that I had, you know, I had a little crush on, as you do as a child, as a preteen, and I just always had it. I always had like this huge crush, super embarrassing. It is what it is. And then this person moved away. Somewhere down the line, somebody had let me know that he had been disfellowshipped, and that just broke my heart. And I can't just say that it was like my hormonal adolescent teenage years, whatever. No, I really felt that like literally my heart had broken, like somebody had kicked me in the stomach, because I still believed it. I remember still believing that something terrible was going to happen to this person because he was disfellowshipped, and I would just sob at night for hours because I was just terrified and I had so much anxiety about it, and my heart was just broken, just like thinking, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna be able to talk to this person again. And that was so rough. It hurt me so bad. And I was like, what wrong could a person possibly do to deserve to have everyone in their life, even people, ancillary people like me who don't know him, who aren't his family, to literally lay in bed and cry and sob because you're worried, sick, that someone is gonna die in Armageddon. And I think that was probably one of the moments in the middle of all of that feeling and all of that devastation where I was like, I don't think I can do this. Like, I don't think that this is right. And that is one of those little chips at the facade or whatever that sticks with you. And when I got older and I could really see that for how horrific it was and how traumatic that has to be as the person on the other side, that was so critical in me waking up when I really think about it, which is kind of crazy. It's absolutely despicable that Watchtower could continue this practice, continue pushing out material as recently as the 2023 convention, which they're very lucky that was not run in very many places where enough people could have gotten access to the videos. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, actually, we probably better clean that up. We probably better sweep that under the rug. For how long, though? For how long? Because it kind of seems like the easiest solution to this problem would just be to stop doing it. But we know that they won't be doing that, because that was one of the last things that Tony Morris said before they got him the fuck out of there. That was just something they would simply never change. Why is it so critical to you to be able to shun people, to manipulate them into coming back into your organization? Is it because you know that more people would leave if they weren't at risk of losing every person in their life? Is it because you know that you would see people leave in droves? You would see your donations deplete if enough people could actually get the courage to leave without having that barrier there? Because I think that that's probably a lot of what it is. How else would you convince people to stay after so long? But then also, here's the thing. If it really is the one true organization, and people who have the right heart, who have been called by Jehovah to be saved, wouldn't they still be in the organization even if they could leave? Like, wouldn't that be actually a stronger testament of faith if people weren't being forced to remain in an organization that one they were probably born into, if not scammed into joining? Like, everything is backwards with that. But that was just my thought, just my opinion, and just my video. So if you like this video, then you can leave it a like. And if you like me, well then you can subscribe to this channel where I will be talking about whatever I want, so whenever I want, because this is my channel. And that's what we do here, babies. So subscribe. And as always, chulas, I hope that you are having a beautiful, wonderful, amazing rest of your day.